Let's try this and maybe it'll fucking work. Oh, wait. I think it's fucking working.
Is it?
It's what? It fucking what? Boys.
I can't find it. Shit.
There we go. Hold on, I'll just quickly send it to you.
Okay, excellent. There's probably a lot of confused people. Send it to Discord.
Bonjour,
there we
gents. Bonjour. We're finally got it fucking fixed. Jesus.
It's not live for me.
Really? I've just sent it to you there. It's saying that we're live.
Yeah, it still just shows the thumbnail right now for me.
Oh, you might need to refresh the page and like hit play. Sometimes it does that.
Refresh. No, I'm still not getting it. What the hell?
Did you see the link I sent you in Discord?
Yeah, that's the one I clicked on. Let me try it again just in case.
Weird. Oh, we're live. Everyone's in the chat and talking and shit.
I wonder why I can't pick it up. That's crazy. Oh well, man. It is what it is.
Fuck it. Oh, well, we're live anyway. Finally.
Wait, somebody on this one, somebody's telling me live in another link. Can I ask Link? Is that weird?
No, I'm sure that's the link I sent to you. Like, hold on. Is that not a fucking what the hell is fucking going on with this bloody stream? This has been cursed. We've spent like an hour trying to get this to fucking.
Oh, bro, this says pointless conversation, belated birthday stream. I found it.
Cool. So it's went up with the old title. I'm just gonna. In fact, my birthday was in October, so that's how long it's been since I've streamed. Fuck's sake. Right.
Hey, excellent.
Right, here we go. I'm just gonna change that. We'll make it your birthday. Happy birthday, dude. There you are.
Found it. We did it, man.
Fucking finally.
It only took 50 minutes, man. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. Anyway, we can actually talk now. What were we going to talk about again?
Something about some pugs or something. I don't remember, man.
Well, just to start, some people might be wondering. I'm sure that some people will like know who you are, but it's just to sort of bring everybody up to speed with what happened with you, what happened with your case, and why you kind of got a little bit fucked over in regards to your free speech over something that wasn't really a serious statement. But on you go,
right.
just tell your story.
All right, I'll give the good summary. My name's Josh Pillault. I was very drunk in 2012 playing an online game known as Runescape. It is not very popular anymore, I guess. Two of my friends were arguing about a video game that was making fun of the Columbine massacre in 1999, and somebody called us dumbasses and interjected on the conversation. So I sarcastically stated that I loved Columbine, and if I could, I would go Columbine, and in fact, I will on a certain day that actually turned out to be a Saturday. And just drunk, chat disappears in 30 seconds. I had a fake name on the game, obviously, and just, trolling a little too hard. And 4 days later, the SWAT team, the bomb squad, the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, showed up and arrested me, detained me without bond, and I was sentenced to 6 years in federal prison, of which I served 5 the first run. I went back for smoking some weed like a moron and did another year, and I just got out. That's the too long didn't watch version, I guess.
Holy fuck, man. Right, so you basically said some edgy bants in fucking RuneScape, of all places. And,
of all places.
in fucking RuneScape, and you did 5 years in federal prison.
Yes, sir.
Because of that, because you said
all at medium-high securities, very, very close points to like the way that they what's the word here? Assign you to certain prisons. I was very close to going to some of the most dangerous and violent prisons in America.
For something you said on RuneScape.
For something on RuneScape. Yep, classic.
Do you want to know one thing that I remember about my arrest? Is like I got put into the holding cell with all the prisoners, and there was a guy in there that I knew, and they were doing the thing where they went around the room. This is where the holding cell where everyone's waiting to get brought upstairs to the courtroom, and we were going around the room, and we're going like, what you in for? And one guy was like, oh, I attacked the cops with a knife. I got caught with a kilo of cocaine. My friend was actually in because he slashed someone across the face with a machete.
Chibbed him.
Yes. Yeah, well done, yeah, chibbed him. We're Scottish here, we work with swords and blades, we're very cultural. And fucking, then it gets to me, And I'm like, I made my dog Nazi salute for a meme. I mean, I'm not making fun of you or anything like that, but when you were in a federal prison, surely you must have felt like a pussy for what you were in for.
A little bit compared to most of those guys, yeah, you know. Definitely, to say the least. Most people would learn about my case, especially when I first got to county jail. It was all over the news, and I mean, people would see it, and then they'd look at me and look at the TV, and they'd look at me, and they would just start laughing, dude. They'd be like, "You got to be kidding me! That's why you're in here, man." And I was like, "They said I'm a domestic terrorist. Is why I'm in here right now." And
were you ganking people in the wild too much, man? Fucking domestic terrorist.
That's what it was, man. I was running around talking all that trash in the wildy, man. You know, I just had to DDS spec somebody in the neck too hard. They called the feds on me. No, by the time I got to prison, yeah, man. I mean, I'm not kidding you. I was locked up with some famous inmates that are doing, you know, multiple life sentences and stuff like that. I had the whole New York City Police Department bought off one guy, and apparently you need to turn up your mic, by the way. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Me? Shit.
And mine's probably screaming though. I got my mic all up in my jaw. Yeah, I definitely felt a little bit like an outsider. The only crime that I committed prior to my incarceration was like buying and using drugs that I was pretty heavily into. Yeah. Other than that, I didn't do anything. I didn't shoplift or, you know, or vandalize or nothing. I was just average run-of-the-mill stoner, heavy drinker. I had a bit of a drinking problem, to be honest. And yeah, compared to those guys in there, man, I definitely wasn't in the big leagues, to say the least.
Well, see when you actually like ended up like going to trial, like your lawyer obviously made the argument saying this was said in a video game. This clearly wasn't serious.
Yes.
Like, and what did the judge think of that? What did the prosecution say? Because the prosecution during my trial said some fucking insane shit.
Outrageous.
Yeah. But like, what did you get the same thing? Was he saying no? He literally planned to go Columbine with this statement he made on fucking RuneScape.
That's exactly what they said. Yeah, they caught me in the act. But,
they caught you in the act.
It is worth saying. Yeah, they stopped me just in the nick of time, but I didn't have any BB guns. I didn't have any pocket knives or nothing dangerous in my house at all. It's also worth noting real quick though that I was convinced by my attorney to actually plead guilty to making the threats. He said that I can deny intending to do it. I can deny wanting to do it, all of that. But he said at the time, the legal standard said, if you said it, it's against the law, because First Amendment here in America, you know, right to free speech does not protect threats. It only applies like to, you know, I can say, damn, I wish the president would die. But whenever you say like, I wish the president, you know, if I wish I would kill the president or something like that, I guess.
Right.
FBI, I'm making an example just so they know. I'm using that for an example. Then it crosses the territory into what could be perceived as a real threat. Shortly thereafter, the legal standard was actually raised. But yeah, man, let me tell you, prosecutors, as you know, they talk like an emo teenage girl's diary. Like they use the most dramatic, over-the-top, intense, like emo music language about like, I mean, they said that this young man was intending to go into the school and massacre children. I didn't have journals. I didn't have drawings. They made me do 2 mental evaluations. They both said I didn't fit the profile. They didn't think I was going to do it. I mean, teachers from the high school wrote character reference letters to the judge and said that they know me and they know that I was a smart ass and that I would never hurt anybody in that way, you know?
Well, that was one of the things I got during my trial. Like, my prosecutor was saying things like, picture football stadiums absolutely full of people, several football stadiums full of people, and he wants to kill all of them. And I'm sitting there in the dock looking at this guy going, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, the stuff he said was so outrageous that some of the reporters that were in, the ones that were like on my side, had to leave the courtroom because they kept laughing. And they're sitting there going like, what the fuck? Like, this absolutely stupid fucking shit that this guy was hitting out with. And the thing, I ended up making him really angry because he did this whole, you know, saying gas the Jews under any context is not okay. And I went, well, you just said it. And he went, and then he went, well, I'm saying it because, and I went, no, context doesn't matter.
Any context.
Yeah, I was like, why did you just say it? And he gets.
Oh, is that bald reporter that you were talking about that was outside?
Oh no, that was the actual prosecutor. But I used the same argument on that reporter outside. What was that?
Okay. Yeah, the prosecutor. Yeah, I mean, you gave him a taste of his own medicine. Any context at all, you just said it. Good job, man. Savage.
See that reporter outside? Like, he's a field reporter, so basically he goes like to sites and does the news. And about a week after that, he was he was doing, I can't remember what football game it was, but he was there reporting on a football game, and he's sitting trying to like talk to the camera while all the football fans are going past him, and they were running up to the camera and shouting, "Free Dankula!" Hey! And like,
hell yeah,
because they recognised him.
That's awesome.
Fucking funny.
Yeah, the support, man. I saw how much support you had. I honestly had no idea that there was any kind of a following to my case at all, and maybe there really, to a certain extent, wasn't. It was really just Silent Core. You know, Silent Core found out about my case and made a video on it while I was still incarcerated, and then when I got out, he wanted to do a video, and that's when the lid really blew off of it, and I found out that I had a lot of support.
Oh no, definitely. Like, I mean, if they came into your house and literally found like everybody's complaining about the audio, I've done my fucking best, boys. Right? I'm trying my fucking hardest. I don't know what the fuck's going on. My audio is fucked. I've turned the gain down. I've fucking messed with the levels. I have no idea what's wrong.
I got a 2012 question, man, and I might be wrong, but is your microphone turned up on the side of your head, or is that an antenna?
I'm actually using this. I just put this on because it stops the feedback, like for the speakers and shit.
I tried.
But yeah, like fucking, like the thing that is like. You just making like, how old were you when this happened?
19.
Right.
Yeah, I was 19.
It's the fact is like, see if that's the type of shit that you did 5 years in federal prison for. Like I've been in Xbox Live lobbies and playing Call of Duty with guys that would get a life sentence. Right. For
no doubt. Yeah.
And man, it's a case of like, but what's it called? The Brandenburg test is something where like, say for example, you know, someone says a threat that says like, I'm going to kill you. They would apply the Brandenburg test. They would go, okay, who said it? A 12-year-old. Where did he say it? In a Call of Duty lobby. That's when they would go, the Brandenburg test is what is the likelihood that this will be carried out? No, this 12-year-old isn't going to go and murder someone over a game of Call of Duty. Although apparently that has happened, right? But they would say, no, that's not going to happen. However, if a guy said, I'm going to kill you, but he sent it to his ex-girlfriend, and he's a drug dealer with a long history of violence, that's when the cops would go, hold on, there is a chance that could happen.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wish that would have been applied in my case.
Yeah, that's what it is. They basically go, what is the likelihood that this would actually like go through? What's the likelihood of it happening? And basically, some 19-year-old on RuneScape, like, no.
With a fake name and a chat that disappears in 15 seconds. That didn't have any weapons. I mean, don't get me wrong, man. I wasn't living my life very well. You know, I mean, I was holed up and drinking a lot, and I didn't want to get a job, and I was being a complete mooch. And I got in trouble in high school, and they really made a big deal out of that. But I mean, 2 mental evaluations, man, both opined that I wasn't the guy that they were saying that I was. What they actually subpoenaed they made me do a 90-day mental evaluation, and they subpoenaed that doctor, and she said I was very confused by the stark contrast that I saw between the gentleman that was sitting in front of me and what the FBI was saying about him.
Yeah. And
then they all kind of turned bright red, and they just basically dug their heels in and said, well, we're the right ones. We got it figured out, you know?
Like
I mean, it was just a circus, man.
That's the thing that bothers me is, like, see how this whole fucking, you know, innocent until proven guilty shit, like, I basically never got any of that with my trial. I knew the outcome of my case was decided the moment they fucking put me in cuffs. But it's just a case of, you see when you're sitting there, like, looking at the prosecutors just saying mental shit, like, oh, we know he was going to do a mass shooting, he literally was going to do a Columbine, and it's a case of, like, you've just invented that. You've literally just dreamed that up, and it's like, I know that a prosecutor's job is to prosecute, his job is to fucking win, but it's the fact is, they do it by lying.
That's the flaw in the system, though. The prosecutor's job, in my opinion, should simply be to tell the truth, you know?
Yeah.
If it's a case that you don't feel should be prosecuted, or that, you know, the evidence is really sketchy, I mean, but they will, no matter what it is, bro, when it gets caught in that net, they're going as hard as they possibly can. Like, they're going to go balls to the wall.
See if this is black and white. See, for example, like, if it's a good prosecutor, all he has to do is say something like, say, for example, it was a murder. We found strands of the woman's hair in this guy's boot. We found his fingerprints on the knife. Just talk about factual shit and let everyone come to their own conclusion. Not this speculation where you go, I think these were the thoughts that are in his head. I think he did this. He's a maniac. He's this. He's that. Fuck you.
He thought he could get away with this. He's a sick psychopathic killer, and he was convinced that he was going to get off the hook and just fire the people up even more, you know?
Yeah, it's a case of, like, I want to get convicted on a matter on like facts. I want to get convicted on facts, not this guy's opinion, which he is exaggerating, like, on purpose so that he can get a win. Another little tally mark on the board. Like, fuck this guy. Like, honestly,
it's all about the numbers, man. It's all about the numbers. And I don't know if Scotland has, like privatized prisons or whatever. And I always thought this kind of stuff was like a conspiracy theory, man. But in prison, you make a lot of money running a private prison. You make a ton of, especially federal private prisons. You get government checks every single day for every inmate that's there. They get a bigger check. And I mean, I'm not big on conspiracy theories exactly, but I don't know who's paying who, or slipping some cash over here, let's share in the profits, And not to mention they have Unicorn here in America. I know that sounds like unicorn, but it's like a built-in factory in a lot of the federal prisons where you go make pretty much everything that the Army needs. Yeah. Kind of ironic. And they save. I mean, they pay you like 9 cents an hour, and that's cheaper than they could get it, buying it en masse from China or something like that.
The prison industrial complex, I think is what they call it.
Yeah, this was something I was completely unaware of, man. And I also, when I first got arrested, the FBI agents totally talked me out of asking for a lawyer because I was naive and I just thought bad guys go to prison and good guys don't. There's nothing to talk about that's not, I just thought I could explain it away.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the thing is, like, whenever the cops arrest you, they give you the whole, we're here to help. We're here to help you. And
I fell for the good guy.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, that's the whole good guy, good cop, bad cop thing. Like, oh, we're here to help. We just need you to take. No, their main primary function is to make sure that you don't walk out of that door a free man. They don't care if you're guilty or not. They just want to get their paycheck at the end of the day, right?
Exactly.
Like that's it. They honestly don't give a fuck. They don't.
No compassion in the whole process from start to finish. It's about the numbers. It's about putting them up. Making them look good on paper, and also there was a certain degree of media interest in my case a few months after I got arrested, more so because Justin Carter was this kid from Texas. He did something really similar. He was playing League of Legends. He said he wanted to blow up a school, and then he was going to eat their still beating hearts. And he said, "LOL, JK." He ended up getting arrested and doing a couple months in prison, but that kind of hit the main or jail rather. He kind of
LOL,
hit
JK.
the mainstream. I actually, bro, when I get the long transcripts, I'm going to read them on my channel because I actually did tell somebody I was being sarcastic. And when the government, they got 3 days worth of my RuneScape transcripts. At first, they just had the report that the kid made. Right. They got 3 days of it. And I actually have on paper where I said it's called sarcasm. And then when the government got that, they immediately filed a motion to block the evidence, right? I mean, as soon as it came in the same day, they filed a motion to block that evidence. You know what my lawyer did, who got promoted to magistrate judge 3 months after I got sentenced or something like that?
What?
My lawyer filed it as a moot point and agreed that the long transcript was irrelevant. I asked him about it, and he said, well, look, for all 3 of these days, you were talking crazy nonsense. You were saying all this stupid stuff about, there was something I said about, like, have you ever seen those videos of people putting match heads in a tennis ball and throwing it? And, like, he was like, oh, a lot of this stuff looks really bad on you. And I'm like, okay, first of all, it just proves that we talk belligerently on these games constantly. Second of all, I literally say, and I only use the word literally when I mean literally. I'm not most 2020 guys. I literally said it's called sarcasm. That is exactly what I said in the middle of this argument. I said, so I private messaged somebody and said, LOL, it's called sarcasm. Like, I point blank said I wasn't going to do it. And for some reason, my lawyer didn't think any of that was relevant. He said, nah, the bad outweighs the good here. I even claimed to be this famous French guitar player. It's the internet, dude. I was being stupid, 19, like, I was like, this just shows how nonsense that we talk on these games. And I mean, like, don't get me wrong, man, I totally understand them coming to check it out after the graphic, nature of what I said.
Yeah.
I'm not upset about getting raided and all that, man. I mean, it's unfortunate, but in retrospect, it makes sense, especially after I got locked up, man. The shooting just started skyrocketing. By the time I went to trial, by the time I went to my sentencing, at like 10 had happened, if not more, 10 major ones or something. America's got an epidemic right now. But it's the fact of the prosecution, man. That's where it gets crazy to me, The prosecution and 5 years in prison. I mean, at this point in time, I've spent like roughly a quarter of my whole life locked up in jail or prison right now. By the time that I get off of probation and everything, I've been dealing with the feds for over a third of my life. For this stupid 5-minute prank that I made back in 2012.
Fucking on RuneScape, like
that just makes it so much worse, bro. It was on RuneScape. Now everybody knows I play RuneScape, man. All my friends probably thought I quit. That was the worst part, man. Everybody found out that I still play RuneScape. In 2012, I was still playing RuneScape, and everybody else had quit in 2007 or something.
Do you still play RuneScape?
Trying to keep it on the low. Oh yeah. Yeah, I play the hell out of old school RuneScape. I'm actually kind of well known on it now. A lot of times I'll be walking around the game and somebody's like, "What up, Josh? Welcome home, bro. Good to see you." The way I see it is I fucked up, not RuneScape. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They called the FBI when they got my initial report. A guy that worked for Jagex.
Who reported you? Was it just a random player, or do you know the person?
It's the guy that first called me. Nah, I don't know. I mean, I have his name. It was in my discovery. But he's the guy that came over and called me a dumbass for I was actually telling them that I did not want to download this game that they were talking about. It was a game that was making fun of Columbine, and they were talking about downloading it and whatever. And I actually said, I don't want to talk about that. Like, I'm not going to play that. I don't think that's funny. My whole family's been interested in serial killers and stuff like that since I was a kid. A lot of people find that weird, but it's a familial interest. Some of my family was in criminal justice in college. But, so, I mean, I had an interest in it. I can tell you all about a lot of different serial killers. My whole family was interested. I used to watch documentaries, you know, and also it's called Wikipedia. You can be an expert on anything in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But allegedly an expert, I guess, if it's Wikipedia.
Yeah.
But so I had an interest or whatever. That's how the conversation started. This person butted in on my conversation when I was telling him I find that video game to be in bad taste. I know it's a joke. I'm not going to sit here and complain about it, but like, it's just not something I want to play. It's not something I want to do. Dude came over and called me a dumbass, and he's the one who ended up reporting me. The last thing that he said in the short version of the transcript was, hey, Paul, because I was named Paul Gilbert after my favorite guitar player. He said, hey, Paul, knock, knock, because I guess he knew the feds were coming or something. And then 4 days later, sure enough,
Holy fuck!
got that cop knock.
I can't believe, like, imagine being that bitchy in a video game that you literally get the cops involved in someone over something that was clearly a fucking joke.
I don't know if I won the troll fight or I lost it, to be honest with you. I'm really not sure. I guess it could kind of fall either way depending on how you're looking at it.
Like that,
I might have won, I might have lost.
Like, that's the thing. I was like, see, in my case, like, nobody actually made a complaint to the police. Nobody made a complaint. The police just came and charged me of, like, their own free will. And obviously, in order for them to make the case successful, they actually had to find someone who was offended, and they actually they ended up finding a guy who was the leader of the Scottish Council of Jews, and it turns out that he works with the police on a professional basis. So basically, he's supposed to get brought in as a professional witness, but instead he get brought in as like a personal witness. And everything.
Oh, wow.
That basically removes all kinds of limitations from him.
Yeah, I was about to say it was a loophole, wasn't it? To where his testimony would just be like, I was offended, therefore the joke is in bad taste and it's a hate crime or whatever.
Yeah, but then what made it even funnier is he stood up there and he basically said, like, I speak for the world's Jews and I'm King Jew. And then all these all these Jews were like tweeting at me with this guy's name going, who the fuck is this? I've never heard of this guy in my fucking life.
All these Jewish people are like, the fuck?
Yeah,
this guy thinks he's the Jewish Pope.
Yeah, all these, everyone was calling him like, oh yes, he's the Jesse Jackson of Jews. That's what this guy is. Like, he's the
president of the Jews.
Yeah, Jesse Juicin. It's like
Juicy Jukesen.
But he was acting like I speak on behalf of all Jews and all that stuff, and then Jews were like sending him emails and like. But
Jews were like, you don't know my work.
No, they were. The problem is that they were sending him emails saying, "You do not speak for me. Like, don't sit there and say you speak on behalf of us when my opinion of the video is this." But then, for some reason, they were CCing me in the email, and I'm like, "Don't do that." Then it looks like
man.
It looks like
you put him up to it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was like, "Fucking stop that, dude."
I'm gonna get busted, bro. Chill out.
Yeah, but fucking.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, but
they just basically I know how it works with the whole like these things are official and they have these set of rules, but whereas some kind of eyewitness testimony is just it's basically hearsay. But then they get done talking and they're like, look, see there was a Jew that was offended. This is a crime now.
Yeah, but that was the other thing as well that they did. Basically, Sue had money from like an inheritance, and because of that money from an inheritance, which she was given on the condition that she uses it for a house. That was the you can get conditional inheritances. It's basically they do that to make sure that you don't just piss it all away on hookers and blow. And basically they said, "Oh, we're not giving
sell the house."
No, but that was the thing is they went, "We're not giving you your legal fees. We're not giving you legal aid." Because of that money's in there, and I'm like, but we're not married. Like, I have no legal right to that money. I was like, she doesn't have any legal right to spend that money on anything else. And they went, we're not giving you legal aid. And I was like, fuck it, fine, whatever. Because basically,
that's crazy.
The thing is, they went, just because you're living together, like, I was like, but we're like living together and all that type of shit. They went, that doesn't matter. But then later on, they sent a letter. They were basically saying, you're close enough that you have a right to that money. You're close enough that you have a right to that money. And I was like, I don't, but whatever. Then they sent a letter to Sue saying that she had to appear as a witness against me in court, and if she didn't, she would be arrested. And we were like, whoa, hold on, we're a couple, you can't do that. And they were like, oh, actually, you're not close enough to be considered that.
Oh my God.
So we were close enough for her to use that inheritance money to pay for my legal fees, but we're not close enough for her to not be used as a witness against me.
Right, yeah. It just depends on how they want to work it.
Yeah,
it sounds like you guys got a lot going on the same with the FBI over here.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Is there like a division between like state level crimes and then like country affecting crimes over there? Like we have feds and then we have state?
We have it basic. We have like very basic crimes. You just basically get a standard crime and then serious. That's all it is. So basically you get assault, serious assault. Like that type of shit.
That's how you kind of divide it up.
Yeah,
here, you get the feds. It's totally separate from state level crimes and even sometimes county level crimes. Fed is, it has to be something affecting more than your area. I mean, you get caught with some weed, state level crime. You get caught with some weed and you just cross the state line, then it's federal, Or in the case of doing anything at all on the internet, it's automatically federal because it affects the whole world, is what they say. So I went straight to the big dogs, federal prison, prosecuted by the FBI.
So how did you get on in prison?
Not bad, to be honest with you, man. I just, my case was a joke. I'd show it to people. They were like, okay, he's not a sex offender. He didn't tell on anybody or try to tell on anybody. And, I chatted it up and I played a lot of music and read a lot of books, man. I played guitar for like 7 hours a day for 3 years straight of it. And I read every time the door locked, I would just sit there and read books until I went to sleep, I didn't get involved in any gangs. I was in a car, which is kind of like a miniature gang of people that agree we're not going to be a gang. Same thing, but with no initiation rights, and also it's really hard to get people to help you out, unlike a gang.
Yeah.
But just kind of stayed to my own, man. I played in the band room, and every prison that I went to, the guys that take music very, very seriously, and they're out there in the band room every day playing it, they just don't really have any issues. You just kind of view it as, oh, that's the music guy, he's out there doing his own thing. I'm not really affecting anybody. So I got along with everybody, man. I wasn't on any kind of race bullshit or anything. I wasn't racist. I wasn't trying to be Aryan or get involved with the black gang either way. I just kind of kept to myself, man. My first prison bid was a little bit crazier. At times I did partake in abusing illicit substances, which I obviously regret now. It's a good way to fill your time, I guess, is one way of putting it.
Yeah.
But man, it's gonna sound really crazy because like when I get out and I look back in retrospect, man, it's amazing how miserable I was without realizing it, because you just kind of adapt to it. I did make really good friends in there, man, and we had really good times and good laughs. I was just FaceTiming with my buddy Garfield the other day. He was my drummer in the band in prison, and I don't know, man. I mean, at the same time, it's kind of like it was eating my soul out, but I could ignore it at the time because there was just nothing I could do about it.
Yeah.
So I glossed over it. And it wasn't until I got out and looked back and I really felt just exactly how lonely I was feeling in there, even with contact with my family and stuff, and like how isolated. And I'm not going to lie, man, for 2.5 years, my innocence was eating me alive. The fact that I was never going to do this and I was sitting in federal prison was just driving me utterly insane. So
it must have been a 5 years of your life over a fucking comment on RuneScape.
Yeah,
like
RuneScape, man. Why did it have to be RuneScape? Couldn't it have been Call of Duty or something with some credibility?
So it's just
something with some respect.
I mean, it's just like I know that America's quite bad for like having harsh sentences for like some pretty fucking minor shit. Like I know some places have like the 3-strike rule where your third crime, no matter it could be something stupid like you get caught with a joint and just boom,
instant
that's life. And all that, I just think that's fucking absolutely insane. But it's just the fact there's like 5 years in a federal prison. Like, I'm happy that you got on quite well, because like I don't mean to be rude or anything, but you don't look like the federal prison type.
No, not at all. Because I kind of wasn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of the guys that look like me in prison, especially whenever I have my glasses on, a lot of the guys that look like me in federal prison don't last too terribly long in the place for what they did.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't really make a joke like that while I'm actually in prison, but getting out, most baby-faced, young, skinny white dudes in there did something bad that they're about to get their head kicked in for. So, I mean, I'd show them my papers, and they're just like, I mean, it's whatever, dude. And I just chat with people, joke with them, I sat wherever and hung out with whoever, and I feel like you kind of almost have to be looking for trouble to a certain extent to really get into it in prison.
Yeah.
When I went to the low security on my violation, now that was wild. You kind of almost can't avoid trouble in there because it's just an open room with 150 dudes, and most of them are youngsters that think they're hot shit because they got an 8-month Fed sentence, and they're just ego is bigger than this room. But no, man, I guess everybody says this about themselves, but I was just really laid back. I was just too laid back to really even be involved in any stupid shit. I'd rather just joke around and have a good time and go play my guitar. I wasn't worried about, oh man, that black dude just touched that TV and now we gotta, go to war over it and all that stupid shit. I I didn't want to get involved in any of that. I was there to do my time that I had to do, kept my head down and got out.
Well, that was the thing, is you got out and we were supposed to be having a chat, but then you ended up going back in.
Messed up, dog, you know what I mean? Yeah.
For a joint. Like, how did you get caught? Did they piss test you? Yeah.
Yeah, knocked on my door randomly one day and made me hit the cup, and that cup just about melted in his hand, man. I was being stupid, and I knew it. I was gambling with my life, man, and I paid the price for it. I do have to say, I went back before the same judge that gave me 6 years. He pretty much gave me a real nice monologue about how I'm a complete piece of shit and a drain on society, and I clearly didn't learn anything. And then he gave me a year in prison, followed by mandatory 6 months halfway house, basically a year and a half for smoking pot and drinking some beer. And then I get to prison.
Well, even beer? You weren't allowed beer?
Nah, I'm banned from drinking alcohol during the terms of my probation. That's not for everybody, but because I was drunk at the time that I made my threats,
right.
They put a special condition. I got to prison, and there was a dude that was back again that was with me at the halfway house when I was there.
Yeah.
He got caught with syringes, failed 3 or 4 drug tests for meth, and then went on the run from his POs and stopped showing up to his PO, and he got 6 months from that same judge.
What the fuck?
I smoked some pot and drank some beer, got another year and a half, 3 times longer than he did.
Jesus fucking Christ, man.
He hated my guts, man. I mean, I went in there, and I'm not going to lie, dude, I handled it pretty bad. By the time I got to sentencing, I was 21. I'd already been locked up for 17 months at that point. And I went in there with my hair about like this, you know, and did my little 2008 flip, you know, and I smirked at him like Damian Eccles when he got sentenced, you know, for some crimes he didn't commit. And I told him this whole case was defined by a generation gap. And let me tell you, bro, the atmosphere in that room got so hot when I said generation gap that I swear you would think these mid-50s to mid-60s prosecutors and judge honestly believed they were part of the same generation as me. You know, we didn't have OK Boomer yet, but I mean, like it was, it was definitely a generation gap. You know, they didn't understand as at one point, because the whole thing about the video game making fun of Columbine is that they were trying to say that I downloaded it and I played it. FBI forensic analysis guy comes out and he goes, no, we didn't find that on his computer because I actually like legally contradicted it in one of their motions. They said I downloaded and played this game. And so then the judge comes to that point and he's like, okay, we have a legal contradiction on the topic of whether or not he downloaded this video game to recreate Columbine. I don't know what the term download means or attempt to download. I don't see it as being relevant, so you can have that. Okay, he didn't download it. And I'm like, this dude doesn't know what the word download means, and he's sentencing me for an internet threat.
That was I completely get what you're meaning, because like the judge in my case was an old guy, the prosecutor was an old guy, and even my lawyer was an old guy. And I'm having to literally, they brought in the Scottish Cybercrime Intelligence Division. Like,
God, that sounds so heavy.
Yeah, no, these are the guys. Like, whenever you hear Cybercrime Intelligence Division, you think the NSA with the big server farms and secret agents and all that shit. But you know, as soon as you put Scottish in front of it, Scottish Cybercrime Intelligence Division, it's just some guy with a Mac in a shed.
For population, I guess, right? You know.
Well, that was the thing, is he got brought in, and I felt dead bad for like this case wasting this. This guy literally catches like child sex ring leaders and all this shit, and terrorists and all this type of stuff, and he's getting
over here about a Nazi pug.
Yeah, and he brought in, and like I feel bad. I don't want to drop the guy in it, right? But like I'll explain that bit in a minute. But ended up he got brought in, and he actually had to explain to the court what a dank meme was. Right?
Yes.
And the thing that made it so much worse was he got it completely wrong. So, and I'm looking at him in the dock. I'm in the dock, and I'm sitting looking at him going, like, that's not it.
Nope, you got it wrong, dog.
But that was the thing, is afterwards, like, and I felt so bad for this. This is a Scottish Cybercrimes Intelligence agent. He has a serious job. He got brought back twice, right? And I think he only came back because he was too nice to tell them to fuck off. He got brought back twice. Not because this is how detached that the prosecution and the judges are from it. He got brought back twice, and it wasn't to give evidence or give further clarification of him. He got brought back to work the projector.
Oh my god, dude, what a waste of resources.
And I think,
meanwhile, you got the subway guy out there creeping on some Scottish kids or something, and this dude's in here running the projector, you know?
I think the trial went on a few more dates, but ended up, like, I think after the third time, it was either him or his boss went, fuck off, that I am not an IT guy. Right, yeah. That's not, I think they just thought, yes, this man knows computers.
I was like, computers. It's computers. Fuck it. We'll just ask him to come back.
But that was the thing. I think it was like after like maybe like the second court date. Like I'm in the toilets and I'm having a piss and I'm next to the guy and I just went to be nice. Like he's doing his job. I know the evidence he gave was against me, but you know he can't. He's a professional witness. He has to say what he's told to say. And I'm just sitting pissing next to him and I just go, all right, man. And he literally like looks around the toilet to make sure no one's there, and he just leans in and just went, I shouldn't fucking be here. And I just went, yeah, I know. And then I did say,
you're like, me neither.
I just went, when I said, when you give your definition of dank meme, you got it wrong, by the way. And he went, yeah, I know. I went home that night and I looked it up.
And I missed the mark by that much.
Yeah, no, that was funny. Like,
they asked me to get on the stand and legally define trolling. Is what they did.
What, really?
Yeah, because the word kept getting thrown around. You know, I from the initial FBI interview, I told them I was just trolling, and I guess that's not really. I don't know. Is that still a popular phrase now? Do people still call it that?
A little bit, because I think it's just for lack of a better phrase. It's where basically you're acting like an arse to get a reaction from people and pass them
almost
off.
Word for word what I said, dude. I mean, I said it's basically saying and doing completely random, off the wall shit strictly to get a reaction. And they were kind of like, did he just speak English? I don't know exactly what he, I mean, these guys are stick in the mud, law school types that aspired to be prosecutors and judges. I mean, I very highly doubt that their sense of humor is very flexible,
Yeah.
And I mean, by the time I got done talking about it, they were just kind of like, the hell is he talking about? I don't get it. Why would you say something just for reaction? And I think they disliked me even further for that,
Yeah.
They already didn't like me to begin with, and I was not taking it seriously at all. The main reason for that is my guideline range, man. In the feds in America, every crime has a point system.
Yeah.
And you get enhancements for certain amounts of points. People get deductions on their points for like telling on other people, etc. 6-9. And so I basically got the worst case scenario I was looking at. If I got a 6-point enhancement for intent to carry out the threat, which I was positive I was not going to get, but worst case scenario, if I got a 6-point enhancement, my guideline recommended range was 18 to 24 months, right? Year and a half, 2 years. I'd been locked up for 17 months at this point. And to be honest with you, this is going to sound so arrogant, but this is how it was whenever I was, 21 at the time and still flash frozen at 19. I was thinking, okay, so worst case scenario, I was wrong, 24 months. It was worth it to me and my pride to get in here and act like an ass to do 7 more months at that point. It was more important to me to get in there and make my statement and just kind of be like, look, I shrugged them off. It is what it is, and do 7 more months than it was for me to just like go in there crying and say, I'm sorry, I wasn't going to do it. Please, please. So I just went in there and basically called them all a bunch of grandpas and told them they needed to get with the system. And, that judge didn't like that. He said, okay, Big Billy Badass, you want to come in here like you're running shit? Triple upward variance, 3 times your maximum sentence. We're going to show you where the bad boys go. You want to be a badass? I'll show you where the badasses go. And he gave me 6 years instead of 3. I mean, instead of 2, sorry.
That's fucking, like, what?
Triple my maximum recommended sentence.
Like, that's the thing is, like, not only that, like, in my case, like, I got fucking a criminal record and fucking £800 fine purely because I offended someone. So basically because you offended that judge, basically his personal feelings, because you hurt his personal feelings, that meant that you got another 4 years added onto your sentence. That's fucked. That is
absolutely
fucked.
There's no telling what's going on in one judge's mind. If he just, I might have reminded him of somebody he didn't like, somebody that screwed his daughter over or something. There's just no telling, man. It's a flaw in the system. I don't necessarily have a better option. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it'd be a little outlandish to say, let's get, like a black judge, a white judge, a woman and a man judge all together, and average together. That's outlandish. But the simple fact is that I don't know what was going through his head. And then all the appeals that I did for it landed straight on his desk. So that's just another huge flaw with it.
The same
all
judge,
the appeals land right on his desk, and he has to either say, yeah, I fucked up, or say, nah, I didn't fuck up. I'm doing a great job at my job. And so, I mean, my appeals went through.
You're never, ever going to find a judge that's going to admit that they fucked up. You're never going to find one. Yeah.
No, it's not in their nature, man. Not whatsoever. Not in their nature. I mean, the prosecutors, I would have been totally thrilled, obviously, if the prosecutors tore my house apart. That's fine, bro. I said something really bad. Tear my house apart, throw me in jail for a couple days, give me my detention hearing, look at the facts, and then say, you know what, we checked it out, we did our job, it doesn't look like anything real is going on here. Instead, they tried to make this story out of it,
Yeah.
They won't admit, it wouldn't have even been admitting they were wrong at that point. In my opinion, it would have been saying we did our job. Now they look wrong. Now they look like they fucked up because of how far they went, But if they'd have just dropped it then, man, I don't have a problem with it. I deserved a little slap on the wrist. Maybe even some probation, man. I was living my life bad. I can understand all that.
Yeah.
I'm not mad for getting under their radar whatsoever, man. That's not the issue. It's the prosecution and how hard they went to try and prove that I was really going to do this. The prosecutor said at one point, "Now, I'm not making up lies about Mr. Pillault here. I'm just trying to paint a picture." And I remember actually telling him, I said, the problem with painting a picture is that the painter gets to manipulate what's seen. You should be trying to show a photograph, not paint a picture. If you want to sit here and talk in metaphors, because when he's painting a picture, he's painting it all right. He's got me with 4 heads and 8 arms and, a Swazi on my forehead. Best friends with Charlie Manson. And they'll just say anything. They throw the most crazy shit against the wall just to see if it sticks. And the judge, by the time they got it over with, his blood pressure was so high, he looked like, oh my God, man, he looked like this vape right here, just bright red. He slammed the gavel so hard he almost broke it. Even the probation officer comes up to my my lawyer, and was like, he dropped count 1 for the guilty plea. I'm not going to go talk to him right now because he's in a horrible mood, and I don't know why. Well, you know what? I didn't know why either. He damn sure slammed me, I can tell you that.
Jesus fucking Christ, man. Like, that's the problem. I think, see, in order to be, like, a prosecutor, you just kind of... It's not a job for someone who has morals.
Amen, brother. I wholeheartedly agree. If you have any compassion or morals about yourself, don't be a prosecutor because they don't want that in the job. Dude, need not apply.
No.
Humanity about yourself need not apply.
As a fact, what was it? He stole a packet of Funyuns from the 7-Eleven. Yeah, we're gonna try and get this guy the chair. Man, yeah.
Exactly. He's a threat to society. He's a complete drain. He tried to steal an 89-cent pack of Funyuns, That's the sad reality of it, man. It's kind of hilarious, but it's kind of not,
Yeah, I think because me and you, well, obviously you've been a more severe victim of it, but I think because we've both been victims of it, we can laugh at it.
Yeah, exactly, man. Hey, you laugh so you don't cry, right? Just laugh it off. And we win in the end if we're laughing.
It's a case of you just said something or did something for a little bit of fun, for a little bit of trolling and all that, and then you get put in front of a prosecutor that's just like, fuck your life.
Yeah, your life, bro. I'm just trying to...
Yeah.
They were mad that I got 6 years, dude. They were pissed off. They filed a motion asking for the statutory maximum 10-year sentence. That's really what they were going for. I mean, they were going as hard as they could. I'd still be in there right now.
My prosecutor tried to do that as well. Like, no joke. He tried to, halfway through the trial, and mine went on for like fucking 2 years. He tried to increase my charge. The maximum sentence I could have got would have been 1 year in prison. And he tried to up it to another sentence where I would have got 5 years in prison. Luckily, though, despite how much of a boomer like my judge was, he's experienced. He at least knows that part of the law, and he turned around and went, "Why have you waited till halfway through this trial? You've waited a year to change the charge that the trial's about." And the prosecutor was kind of and then the judge went, "No, motion refused." And I was, but I'm sitting in the dock and I'm biting my lip because I just wanted to turn to the prosecutor and go, "You dirty motherfucker!" Like, why would you do that?
Just fuck your life, just like you said. That's how they feel about it.
That's fucking honestly like. Fuck prosecutors, man. Like, honestly, just like I could
never do that job, man. I wouldn't mind it being involved in some kind of legal, like a lawyer type thing. But how can you do that job and sleep at night? I just don't understand. You must really have to be playing some psychological games with yourself to be able to do that job, man.
Like, it's the fact that it's like, see, looking at you were telling me that you had a drug problem, you had a drinking problem, and all that. Like right now, I don't get that vibe from you like at all. I like to think, personally, I think most druggies think this, but I don't think I was, I wasn't the kind that was stealing from my family. I'd lie, manipulate, and all that, but at the same time, if I just straight up ran out, man, I wasn't about to go commit crimes with it. It was still, even though I had a problem and I couldn't stop doing it, it was still more of the fun and games aspect before my life went down the spiral. And for that much, at least an intervention could have been helpful, like if they'd have kept it at probation, et cetera. That's another reason that I say that I'm not upset about up to that point. But yeah, no, man, I had a pretty bad drug and alcohol problem. That's why my teeth are all janked up now. It's from doing stuff to maybe grind my teeth and all that. And it manifested in prison again, unfortunately, for a brief period of time. But I got over a year sober now. January 17th, a few days ago, man. I've been stone cold sober for over a year now, and I'm absolutely loving it. Married now. I got a baby on the way. My YouTube channel still has almost 20,000 subscribers. I lost a few when I hit a live stream for some reason. I think everybody went, "Who the hell is this guy again?" Unsub. So I lost a few subscribers, but it's still been overall, it's still been going really well. That happens whenever you're considered. Basically, see if you've been on the internet and you've had the police on your case for any type of thing, YouTube kind of goes, "Oh, fuck this guy." Like, so the algorithm won't be friendly to you. But I think you've got a hell of a personality, so I think you'll do well on YouTube.
Well, thanks, man. It means more coming from you than pretty much anybody else I talk to, because I like yours too. You always, I'd like to be able to tell stories and shit like you do, man.
No, you should do other types of content. I mean, you could do RuneScape if you wanted.
I actually have a RuneScape YouTube channel. It's got less than 1,000 subscribers at this point, but I do have one. I'm working on that.
Yeah, no, but like that's the thing is you should branch out any other stuff. Like, say for example, like one of the things you could do is like I think you should basically do what I did. It's like I give people regular updates on the trial. I haven't done one in fucking ages because over here the appeals process takes fucking years, man. Like we sent a letter to the fucking Supreme Court like 9 months ago, and they only just got back to us in December. Like that's how long it fucking takes.
Yeah, it's like that over here too, man.
Yeah, but like that's the thing is I think you should make videos talking about your case and what happened and just going through all the steps, because I think it's, especially the stuff that you're saying about the prosecutor, I think it's important stuff that people need to know.
Yeah, it was, man, they were crazy.
Yeah.
You know it as well as I do, though, man. I mean, they just get in there and it's worst case scenario. The whole world's out to get us, you know?
Yeah.
All the way from the bottom up. It's just, that's how they approach every situation, is worst case scenario.
Yeah.
I did a few, like, prison FAQ stuff. My first video apparently did hit the algorithm because I had 275,000 views or something like that.
Oof.
But Silent Core is really the one that put me on, man. He did a video with me, and I had 10,000 subscribers before a video, so I didn't really pay my YouTube dues. Maybe I'm paying for that now, you know?
I've met Silent Core. Silent Core's a good guy.
Yeah, I like Silent Core a lot. Hey, you guys are relatively, world speaking, kind of close together. You never met him in person?
No, yeah, I've met him in person. Yeah, I've met him in person. That's the problem is, like, see all of the Scottish YouTubers, right? I know it sounds bad because we always make this stereotype that Scotland's only around like 12 people and all that, right? And the problem is, like, see all of the Scottish YouTubers, all the big ones, we all live within like a 20-minute drive of each other. Man,
but we can't, you know, like go public with any of the stories or anything. You know what I mean? What happens in Scotland stays in Scotland. So,
but that's the thing is, it's like the Scottish YouTube community is sort of divided with me. There's the ones that are chill and like me and they'll hang about with me and they'll do content with me and all that type of stuff. And then there's the other half who think I'm a super ultra mega Hitler. Like there was literally a Scottish YouTuber like night out, right? We do it at the Christmas night out. We all go out and we get drunk, right? And I turned up and I'm like, oh, hiya, and I'm greeting everyone, and I noticed there was a big chunk of them like not there. It turns out that because a bunch of them were like so unhappy with me being there that they basically split in half. Like there was the one group of people that were fine with hanging out with me, and the other group of Scottish YouTubers that don't really like me went to a different bar.
Wow, man. You had like the Dank Squad and the other folks.
Like that was the
That's
thing.
pretty divisive, man. That's pretty cool. It means you're doing some good work. Nobody hates you. You're not doing good.
Oh no, yeah, I've heard the problem is like whenever I get brought up, they all start arguing with each other. He's a Nazi. No, he's fucking not, and all that type of shit. Like, yeah, but I think.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell them that the dog's name is Buddha, bro? Then they're like, oh, never mind. He's not gonna gas these shoes. His name's Buddha.
Well, but the problem is the swastika comes from Buddhism.
Oh yeah, good point. It's that old symbol of life. Yeah. Ooh, that's kind of ironic.
Like that,
yeah, never mind.
I can remember that there was some journalists that were trying to say, oh, did you name the dog Buddha for like offensive reasons, like religious offensive reasons? And then Sue, my wife, was like, no, I called him Buddha because when he was a puppy he was really fat.
I figured that when I looked at him. I was like, he kind of looked like the little paintings of the Buddha, you know, all chubby and, you know,
even now, whenever he sits down, you know, the way like a regular dog sits down, like, see, whenever you get like a German Shepherd that sits down, it looks all majestic. Whenever Buddha sits down, he just looks like this fucking 50-year-old twice divorced alcoholic man, just with a big gut
just
like hanging out. Yeah.
He's an adorable dog, man. I loved that video. I'm not gonna lie. Have you seen that video where they showed it at the comedy club? That was great.
Yeah.
If your prosecutors would have watched it in that context, maybe they would have shut the hell up a little bit, you know.
Like that was the thing that was really weird about the case. It was see me making the video, being in the video, editing the video, right? None of that was a crime. The crime was posting the video. So that means that anyone who's even shared a link to the video, like, that's breaking the law. You've shared...
Yeah, you got a good point.
Shared grossly offensive material, which basically means that, oh, there's so many, like, news channels and everything that have committed the same crime I have.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Every single channel that showed your video should now be subject to arrest. It's just really hypocritical, and they don't really consider it in a 3D aspect, I guess, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know if a lot of people would want to show solidarity with you by going online and saying, I'm going to make Columbine look like a fucking joke.
Please don't.
Yeah,
Please don't.
Don't do
Whatever
that.
you do, don't say I told you to do it. If you do, say it.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything to do with it.
After everything
Now,
we've just said
Dankula and
about-
Josh Pillault are not responsible for any online threats that are made.
I'm pretty sure after everything we've just said about prosecutors, nobody's going to try and do that.
Yeah, I would hope not. Yeah, they're gonna be like scared to go check their mail now. Think they're gonna get arrested and sent to the Hooskow.
Yeah, no, that's the thing is, I like to talk to people that have been like sort of like victims in regards to the free speech stuff. Like you've got, for example, like in your case, like you were just being like an edgy teenager on RuneScape, right? I think, see if the cops came to your house and found guns and bombs and fucking like, you know, potassium nitrate and all that type of shit, then I would
Story.
that would be a different story. But the fact that they came to your house and found nothing.
Yeah,
Like,
and people have even asked me about that. They've been like, man, I heard that there was some stuff in your house. There's actually a public case law record, which even though it was written by the government and is heavily biased and lies about me a lot, they did actually write down, the government stipulated, both parties stipulated no bombs, no bomb-making materials, no weapons, no drawings, no journals, no materials that could be used to make weapons or bombs were found in his home. I mean, that right there is already a big sign if I was supposedly 5-6 months away from doing this. And I live in Mississippi, dude. I was like the only house in the state that doesn't have a gun in it, you know? I was the only house in the entire state, probably the whole South, that didn't have a gun in it. And they still went that hard on me, man. It was my mom's house. You know, I just moved back in with my mom. They even said on the stand at my very first detention hearing, they said, we don't even know if he had butcher knives in the kitchen. It was just about as non-dangerous as it could be. My mom didn't even really have big knives, you know? And,
Holy shit.
oh, man. I guess it's worth mentioning, man, that I had the Jolly Rogers cookbook on my computer. And this is another aspect of where the prosecutors being insane comes back into play.
Yeah, everyone had that. I remember that. I used to have that.
Same thing
on
as
my
the
computer,
anarchists, you know.
Yeah.
Inside of it, so the thing was saved on my computer, my BitTorrent or whatever. So they find it and they put it up on the screen at my sentencing hearing, and they're like, "This right here happens to be a recipe for making arsenic from cherry pits." And I said this in one of my videos. I was like, "You caught me. You caught me, government. I was gonna take a truckload of cherries and grind down all the pits out of it and drag a huge bag full of poison into the school, I guess, and dump it in. Why are you even bringing this up?" They said, "Here's one for how to make a blasting cap detonate with an exercise bike." I still don't really know exactly what a blasting cap is, but it sounds to me like you pedal on a bike and it makes a bomb explode. And I was like, well, nobody was going to stop me, man. I was going to grab my exercise bike and just drag it right into the middle of the school and hop on it and start pedaling and pedaling and pedaling. You guys busted all of my plans, man. I thought I was never going to get caught. It's just absurd, man. You know, it's not that I had anything actually dangerous that I had even individually searched, you know? Oh, except for that tennis ball bomb thing. You remember I told you I was asking about tennis ball with match heads in it?
That's why, see, when you said that, I was thinking back and I went, I've done that. I did that when I was younger. The tennis ball, the match heads, you throw it and you laugh and all that. But there was another one we used to do as well where you could make like DIY like smoke bombs out of ping pong balls.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm not going to say how you do it like here on the channel, but we used to do that. We would get it. We would just sit down the park, light one, throw it, and then we would all go, haha, that's cool. You know, we went.
Yeah, and then laugh and leave.
Yeah, exactly. We weren't planning on fucking on doing a Columbine or anything like that. Fuck.
Now you've got a guy in a Mac in a shed with a Mac watching you now because you looked that up. You know what I mean?
Oh, they went through like all my computers and like all of my online shit, and I was sitting there like. They're sitting going, is there anything on your computer that we should know about? And I went, there's a lot of fucking porn. Like, anyway, what kind of porn? And I'm like, oh, the good shit, man. Chicks with dicks, horses, all that shit is fucking it.
Yeah, man. Nothing illegal, but some weird shit.
That's the thing, is that the funny thing was they asked, like, do you have any porn on your computer? And I went, funnily enough, no, I actually don't. I stream that shit. I'm not a fucking caveman.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of wondering, like, who downloads it anymore? Because I think my lawyer made a reference to that. He said he didn't even have any porn on his computer. I'm like, who downloads it?
Yeah.
It's 1997, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Buffering, like, I don't think anybody does that anymore.
No, that's why you've got Pornhub, man. We live in the modern age. Like that, porn is available at your fingertips.
Who downloads? There's probably somebody in the chat right now that's like, oh yeah, I download, bro. Got to keep the good ones. They asked me the same thing, by the way, man, whenever tearing my house apart when they first got there, and they dragged me out in cuffs, and I had 50 guns on my house, you know, and the team, and they were like, you got anything in there we need to know about? And I was like, yeah, man, and I named a couple of drugs that I had, you know, like not personal use amounts, And they're like, no, we ain't talking about that. We're talking about like some weapons, some guns, anything like that. And I was like, no, I don't have anything dangerous in there. But I still didn't know why the hell they were there, you know. Not until I got to the building and they clicked the light on me and spun it around. Have you ever heard of a game called Runescape? You got to be kidding me, dude. I just put my head down on the desk. I was like, oh no, bro.
I'm just picturing the big bright light, but it's just like the silhouette in the background, like, tell me about RuneScape. Like, pure
pin click. What do you know about RuneScape?
The numbers, Mason. What do they mean?
Yeah, we're trying to untangle this. What do they mean? Hey, they had a clock on the wall, like right here.
Yeah.
Next to my head. That had a button in it, like that big in the middle of it. That's not a camera. Sitting there on camera with these lights shining on me, these cops clicking pins, and they're leaning forward. Yeah. Well, no, we know that nothing serious is gonna happen. We just, this is our job. You have to explain it to us, and then we're gonna let you go. And little did I know, 1,795 days later, I finally walked out of that razor wire. If only I'd have known, man. When they told me they were transferring me to the jail they said we're gonna have to put you in jail for 2 or 3 days, and then you'll you know, go to your detention hearing, and they'll let you out on bond or whatever. And I was like, 3 days? I can't go to jail for 3 days. I got stuff to do. I didn't have shit to do, but
yeah.
Boy, if only 3 days. Yeah, if only. Little did I know, I had quite a bit more time than that to serve.
Holy fucking shit, man.
Straight to the big old concrete jungle, man.
I'm still laughing.
But like I said, man,
getting interrogated about RuneScape. The guy leans in and goes, "We're going to do a trust exercise. You're going to drop your party hat on the ground."
Step over the wilderness ditch and drop it. If you really trust us,
yeah, exactly.
You'll drop it. Don't worry. Let me hold your coins.
Yeah.
To show you trust me. Let me hold your life. That's what they wanted. They wanted me to trust trade on my life, and they scammed me. I can tell you that much.
That's fucked, man. But like, I'm enjoying the fact that you're out now. You've got, what is it, a year and a half left of probation?
Yeah.
So that's
not worried about it at all. My PO showed up randomly yesterday, or I guess it was the day before now. Just showed up, knocked on this door right here, all the way in the house, upstairs in my computer room, and was like, knocked on the door and heard a man's voice say, "Josh," and I was like, "That's my PO." Nobody else here would do that whenever I say come in, you know. So he, you know, walked all the way through the house and went in the rooms, and then I peed in a cup for him, and he said, "That's crystal clear." And I mean, the thing about it is, man, I'm not nervous about it this time. Last time I was just a ticking time bomb as far as getting arrested again goes, you know. Oh, yeah. I shouldn't have said ticking time bomb. Sorry, FBI.
Oh, that's another 5 years.
yeah, I just signed myself up for another round. But if I'm not fucking up, man, he can't do anything to me. I finally realized that, you know. I was not nervous when he knocked on the door. I just thought, okay, I got to do what I got to do. He took a couple pictures of me in case I were to hypothetically go on the run and leave this awesome setup that I have with my in-laws and my wife, you know, and a baby. We're getting our own apartment next week. Man, it's just so much more laid back. I just enjoy doing right now, you know. It's nice not having to watch my back and worry about this and what happens if they knock on my door. They knocked on the door and I was chill, man. It's the same thing when I hit roadblocks now. It used to be like, here you go, but now, you know, now I hit a roadblock and I just give my ID and go about it, man. I'm enjoying being a square more, I guess.
No, you've definitely got a much better head on your shoulders. Like, you know what you need to do. Like, obviously you're not drinking, you're not smoking weed and anything like that. Nah, I smoke a lot of weed. I don't give a fuck about that.
I don't think weed hurts anybody. It's me and alcohol. Even alcohol, you know, in moderation is fine with people. I just can't moderate, you know. But I'm not anti-pot at all.
No, that's completely fair. But it's the fact is, like, you know, married, baby, you've got a house and all that type of stuff, man. And also, you actually have a very good personality, which I think is going to make you do really well on YouTube.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you helping me out. This has been I don't know if they know or not, this has been a year and a half in the works or more, you know?
Oh, yeah, because we were supposed to do the chat when you get released last time, and then you pissed in the cup and you get caught smoking weed, and then you were...
snatched right back up.
I know, man, that was a hang. I think it was actually Silent Call that went, yeah, just to let you know, Josh is back in jail, and I went, what? I was like,
that was quick.
Yeah, I was like, because we've got, over here, we don't call it probation, we call it on license. Basically, you're out on license for like 6 months. You know, yeah, it's essentially the same as like probation, we just call it license. Basically, you know, if you don't offend and don't take drugs for this 6 months, then that's it, you're released, you're gone, you're fine. But like...
Yeah, simple enough.
You've got another year and a half, and then that's you completely free. Like, no...
Yeah. I mean, I'll be a convicted domestic terrorist and a felon at that point, but yeah, as far as I can, you know, freely travel the United States, go certain places internationally, some, not all.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'll be kicking back then. We'll see what happens with me being a felon within a year or two. You know, I have a good feeling that I won't be one forever.
Yeah, but, a RuneScape terrorist.
A RuneScape terrorist, man. That's my RuneScape name, is the RS Felon.
Dude,
RuneScape Felon.
That's genius. I love it.
Yeah, that's how people know it's me when they see me in the game. They're like, oh shit, that's that guy right there.
It's that guy.
And I still have a good tendency of trolling too. I still like to fuck with people. I just do it a little bit differently now. I just don't go quite that hard.
Yeah, don't do it quite that hard. Yeah, but I still think I'm happy that you're out and I'm happy that you're doing well. Like 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. The golden rule is the first 100,000 subs is the hardest. That's the hardest one to hit. But honestly, see
I'm working on it.
Good, because I genuinely think you can do it.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, but like, is there anything else that you want to touch on, or anything like that? Anything else you feel should be discussed? Because I definitely feel that seeing my trial, the intent of why I did what I did was completely ignored. They just threw it out. They just substituted whatever reality they wanted to make sure they got a conviction in my case, and that was something that Stalin and his trials used to do, and I feel that that's exactly what they did to you. Basically, you know why you said the things that you said, you know what your intent was, but they
cannot comprehend it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what was dangerous. As far as going for anything that I have to say, man, just a lot of people, the only negativity I ever really get is from people saying, oh man, it's good because you teenagers think you can say whatever you want on these video games and have no repercussions. And I'd just like to clarify that I've said it many times, man. I'm glad there were some kind of repercussions. Things like that have to be taken seriously and looked into when it goes as far as I went with it. It's the prosecution and the sentence that I think is absurd, you know?
Yeah.
Watch what you say online, guys. You can, and you definitely can and will be held accountable for it if you go too far. I had walked that line before, and I guess I finally stepped over it. But I also have a YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, shout out your channel, shout out your Twitter, just do all the shout outs just now.
Let me think.
In fact,
This is probably going to disappear immediately, but
I know.
Oops, it got removed web address.
I've got mods in the chat. If I just tell them spam Josh's channel in the chat. In fact,
I think I saw somebody do that earlier.
In fact, send it to me on Discord. I'll do it. I'll be able to.
Oh, okay. I actually have some links like saved, but it's got my wife's what do you call it? My wife's fucking Instagram in these links too. She's got 20,000 followers. I don't care. You know?
Oh no, but my followers won't say anything very nice.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, you got a good point.
There we go.
Let me find my links thing. Text document.
Tailed Features doing it. He's spamming your channel in the chat right now.
Hey, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. I'm hopefully gonna be doing a lot more in the near future. I want to make a video hopefully tonight on my prison tattoos. I think that should be entertaining.
Oh no, that's good. That's good.
Where did my Discord go, man? What did you do to my Discord, dang?
Probably banned. My Discord's been terminated twice now.
What?
No, legit, yeah. We get banned. Once was from an article by BuzzFeed, and the other was from an article by the BBC. Yeah.
Oh my god. All right, hold on. I just sent the link. My Discord server just asked you to join it. I understand if you don't, though. We got a lot of crazies in mine too. It's just not all that active.
I've got a feeling that mine might be a little bit worse.
I'm gonna have to agree with you.
Yeah.
I think I was in there at one point, man. When I got out of prison, though, I was like not in any more Discord servers. I don't know if I got kicked or what. Mine was still up, and that was the only one that I was in, so I probably just got kicked. I just had to rejoin Tommy C's. Was shot from the point. But yeah, just my main thing is be cautious about the shit that you talk on the internet.
Yeah.
You will be held accountable for it, particularly if you're American. Don't post videos of your cute little pug being a fake Nazi. You can get in big trouble for that too. You can be fined.
Yeah.
And prosecutors will try to give you a mad upgrade to your sentence halfway through the trial.
Yep.
And if anybody in here has watched my videos already, then thank you very much. I still had 20,000 subs when I got out of prison, man. It's been absolutely phenomenal. So thank you guys for following with me on the journey. And obviously, big shout out to Silent Core as always, and a huge thank you to Count Dankula. We've been working on this forever, man. I had a great time. I really appreciate you letting me come on, man.
We finally sat down and had a fucking chat. It only took like 2 years, man.
Yeah, damn near it. I think it's been almost 2 years, man. We finally got it done. The internet arrested guys finally got together. So I don't know if these guys understand what an epic proportion stream that this was, but
yeah,
it's been a long time coming, you know.
I'm happy it finally happened. But what makes me happier is the fact that, you know, you got a wife, you got a kid, you're doing good. That makes me happy, because it's like I don't like people going through hardships like that and not landing on their feet. But you've really landed on your feet, and make a go of YouTube, because I think you'll do pretty well.
I'm gonna give it a shot, man. I've got a couple videos. Like I said, more coming soon. I'm gonna try and shorten them down a little bit, and I'm probably gonna do an expose that's gonna piss off a lot of my family that don't know that I got them. But I got quite a few prison tats that I like to show off. Maybe make the thumbnail like a staple, and like a bottle of baby oil or Vaseline we make the ink from.
Dude, do it. That's funny. I like it.
Look, man, I really appreciate everything for real, man. This has probably been the biggest opportunity that I've had as of yet, so thanks a lot.
No, there's no problem at all, man. Thanks very much for coming on, and thanks very much, everybody. Like, I know that people gave super chats and stuff, but I'm sorry for not reading them. I just really wanted to hear Josh's story.
Yeah, we were absorbed.
Yeah, sorry, guys, but thanks very much anyway, and thanks very much for coming.
All right, man. I'm gonna talk to you on